1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. He's Hacker.
Talk about a fried egg. I lasted about 5 minutes out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Oh, yeah, just like that. Boy, that got here quick, didn't it? Week 2 of the National Football League kicks off in a matter of moments. It's a good one tonight, a really good one. Lambeau Field, Jaden Daniels and the Commanders, Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers, as Week 2 of the 2025 NFL regular season gets set to get underway. And with that, a very good Thursday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us. A Thursday that found the Jaguars back at the Miller Electric Center, getting ready for the Cincinnati Bengals. Of course, kickoff of that game Sunday, 1 o'clock. You'll hear it right here on 1010XL. Cincinnati 1-0. The Jacksonville Jaguars come in at 1-0. What do the Bengals think about this matchup? What is their perspective up there in Cincinnati on the Jacksonville Jaguars coming in? About 30 minutes away, my buddy Jay Morrison. He's been my Bengals guy for years. BengalsTalk.com. That's under the Sports Illustrated umbrella. We'll talk with Jay about Cincinnati, about Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. They won a game last week, and they are not happy at all about the way that they played. It is the home opener for Cincinnati. So we'll get the Bengals' perspective on this ball game on Sunday. Jay Morrison, BengalsTalk.com. A little less than 30 minutes away. Down in the Jaguar locker room earlier at the Miller Electric Center, I had the opportunity to talk with tight end Hunter Long, coming off his first NFL touchdown reception in last week's victory over Carolina. So we will talk with Hunter Long here on Hacker After Dark, as well as Ezra Cleveland. Was there a better position in the game on Sunday than the Jaguar offensive line? 200 yards on the ground. Trevor Lawrence did not get sacked. In fact, Trevor Lawrence only got pressured in about 15% of his total dropbacks. It was a dominant performance by the offensive line. In fact, Liam Cohen gave the entire offensive line a game ball for Sunday's performance. So we'll talk with Ezra Cleveland, the starting left guard of the Jacksonville Jaguars, about the win over Carolina, the performance against Carolina, and looking ahead to Cincinnati. So Jaguar locker room one-on-ones, Hunter Long and Ezra Cleveland, and my guy Jay Morrison up in Cincinnati giving us the Bengals side of this matchup. That is all coming up here in the next 35 minutes or so. Every night here on Hacker After Dark, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night, and Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal? What is the big deal?
No big deal. It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
Friday Night Lights tomorrow night, so this is the final Hacker After Dark of the week, and what a football weekend it's going to be, right? You got Georgia, Tennessee, 3:30 on Saturday. You then, I guess, have Florida, LSU, 7:30 Saturday. And then the Jaguars and the Bengals Sunday at 1 o'clock. It could be a great weekend in these parts. It could be a terrible weekend in these parts. It could be somewhere in the middle. That's where I ultimately think it's going to fall, but towards the worse side. Let me explain. Georgia Bulldog fans, I like you against Tennessee. I think Tennessee is probably a little bit better than I thought they were going to be after Nico left about 2 months ago. I think Aguilar's come in and done a nice job. They beat Syracuse pretty handily. They won a game against Directional U last week. They're 2-0. They're feeling pretty good. But I just get a feeling this will be a coming out party for Gunnar Stockton and the Dogs. Nobody's really watched them this year. They've played, Marshall? I don't even know who they played last week. It was, again, another...
Austin Peay.
Austin Peay, that's right. Marshall and Austin Peay for the Georgia Bulldogs. So this will be the first chance that a lot of people take a good, hard look at Georgia. And I think Georgia is going to circle the wagons. I think Kirby Smart's going to have them ready. Give me the Dogs over the Volunteers on Saturday. I think Georgia gets it done. Florida, LSU. Dylan Denmark and I will have the Gator Bites podcast tomorrow morning on the 1010XL social media platforms. That thing's going to start a little after 8 o'clock tomorrow. We hope you join us for that. So I'll kind of let the cat out of the bag a little bit. I like LSU. I'm not breaking any news there. But I will say this. This game for Florida, to me, has a lot of Tennessee 2024 vibes. And what do I mean by that? Well, going into Knoxville last year, things were not rosy, right? There was a lot of trepidation about Billy Napier. Things were not going well. The people did not expect Florida to do very much at night up in Neyland Stadium a year ago. And Florida should have won that game. Florida probably outplayed Tennessee in that game, if not for some head-scratching decision-making from the coaching staff and Graham Mertz getting injured. I think Florida would have probably beat Tennessee last year, a game that no one really thought they were going to win. I see something similar on Saturday. I've heard people all week long saying, LSU's going to kill them. At night in Baton Rouge, LSU's going to kill them. They lost to South Florida. Yeah, they lost to South Florida, which is why you're going to get the best Gator effort maybe of the season on Saturday night. After the embarrassment of losing at home to USF in the fashion that they did, I think Florida is going to play their butts off on Saturday night. Whether it's playing for Billy Napier, whatever verbiage you want to describe it as, I think LSU is absolutely 150% going to get an A game from the Florida Gators, which is why I think it is a game in the fourth quarter. But when I go back to the Tennessee game a year ago, just ridiculousness will ensue. Something will happen on Saturday. It will be a close game at Tiger Stadium on Saturday night in the fourth quarter. But whether it's a horrible intentional grounding, a turnover, a block in the back that takes back a big play for Florida, just remember when you're watching in the fourth quarter. Remember your old buddy Hacker telling you Florida's going to be in it. They're going to be right there, maybe even leaning towards pulling off the upset. But whether it's a penalty, whether it's a turnover, whether it's a botched fourth down call, something's going to happen in the middle portion of that fourth quarter that will cost Florida the game, much like it did against Tennessee last season. So give me LSU, I'll say by a touchdown. I'll take LSU 30, Florida 23, but I do think it is a very close and competitive football game. And that brings me to the Jaguars on Sunday, 1 o'clock. You'll hear it right here on 1010XL, and we will have the fifth quarter, 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Bengals go final. Myself, the Pro Bowler Leon Searcy, and the coach Gerald Ingram will be with you roughly around 6 o'clock on Sunday evening. Been thinking about this a lot. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then obviously today. There is a confidence about this Jacksonville Jaguar football team. There is a belief in that locker room they're going to go to Cincinnati and they are going to win. And why shouldn't there be? They played excellent against Carolina. The offensive line was dominant. The defense forced 3 turnovers. ETN ran for $143. I think Jacksonville left points on the field. Brian Thomas Jr. was open a couple of times. Trevor missed him. Travis Hunter, that would have been a touchdown had Trevor just overthrown J.C. Horn by a little bit more. It could have been a lot worse than 26-10. So there should be a confidence. But I also live in the world of reality. And what reality tells me about this game, it's the Bengals home opener. The Jaguars have been putrid on the road for the last couple of years. Cincinnati got away with one last week. They did not play well offensively, and they are angry about the way they played. Is that going to happen 2 weeks in a row to Burrow and Chase and Higgins? Probably not. I hope I'm wrong. I am rooting for myself to be wrong. And if I'm wrong, I will gladly admit it, and we are going to have a heck of a good time on the fifth quarter Sunday evening. But I got to be honest with you. If I'm nothing else on this program, I'm honest. I'll shoot you straight. Hope you know that by now. In good conscience, I cannot pick a team that I don't think is going to win the game. I hope I'm wrong. But I will take Cincinnati to win the football game. I think it is a great ball game. Give me Cincinnati 26, Jacksonville 23. But again, a bounce here, a bounce there. Who knows what could happen? And if Jacksonville does go up there and win, whew, boy, what a fifth quarter that'll be on Sunday evening. So I got the Dogs over the Volunteers. I got LSU in a close one over Florida. And I got the Bengals in a close one for their home opener over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's go inside the Jaguar locker room. I had the opportunity earlier on at the Miller Electric Center to talk with tight end Hunter Long, coming off his first touchdown catch of his NFL career. Also offensive lineman Ezra Cleveland. We will play both of those Jaguar locker room one-on-ones here on Hacker After Dark next. On a Thursday night here in Northeast Florida, week 2 of the National Football League season, kicking off in moments between Green Bay and Washington. We'll keep you updated. We're with you till 10 o'clock right here. It's Hacker After Dark.
He used to lay the lumber on the field.
No, I'm not a quarterback, but I like eating quarterbacks for breakfast.
Now he lays his opinions on Jaguars Today. Tom McManus. Fridays on 1010XL. Opened by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family-owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On September 11, 1985, Pete Rose gets career hit number 4,192, passing Ty Cobb, making Rose the all-time hit king.
Football season is back, baby. Hicken here, and I know I'm excited to get back to watching some ball over the weekend. But with the fun comes responsibility. Taking care of your skin while outside, extremely important. We know it feels like 100 out there, and that sun is blazing. Make sure you bring the screen while loading up all that tailgate. It's simple. Protect your skin. It's the Sunshine State. To help you protect your skin, Beaches Dermatology is here. I've been going to them for years, and my skin thanks me for it. Book your appointment today at beachesdermatology.com.
At Cannons of Jacksonville, they know that when you're towing anything, you gotta have products you can rely on. With over 50 years of fabrication expertise, the family at Cannons can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Whether it's a heavy-duty hitch, trailer frame, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons will provide you with unmatched precision and durability. For all your towing needs, visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, Jason, thanks for coming over so quick.
Sure thing, pal. What's the big... Whoa!
See, I told you there was a smell.
Yeah, it smells like...
Exactly, or a dead one more like it.
You need some fresh air in here.
Well, this is the problem, Jason. I've kept everything sealed up tight all summer long so I don't lose all my nice cool air. Now all the dog smells and cooking smells and home gymnasium man cave smells are all building up and I can barely...
Dude, where are the Bueller sunglasses I gave you?
Oh, I don't know. They must be in my other...
Put on my emergency pair. Whoa. Bueller Air and Plumbing can install an air purification add-on to your existing air conditioner. Clean the air of dust and pollen and funky smells while you cool.
So I can keep all the cool air I saved up?
And your place won't smell like a dead...
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Here's what the car insurance companies may think they know after a car crash. They know you probably don't know what your claim is worth, or how to calculate pain and suffering, lost wages and future earnings, current and future medical expenses, or diminished value to your car. But guess what? We do. And if we don't win your case, you owe us nothing. For a fairer fight, you know who to call. Farah and Farah. Jacksonville.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Packer After Dark on 1010XL.
Yes, it is. Glad you're with us. 1010XL at 92.5 FM. They are underway at Lambeau Field. Green Bay has the ball first and 10 at their own 28-yard line. Just underway, the first game of week 2, Washington and Green Bay. Both teams 1-0 on the year, and we will keep you updated. The Jaguars' week 2 opponent is the Cincinnati Bengals. I was down at the Miller Electric Center earlier on. Got to talk with a number of guys. Ezra Cleveland, the offensive lineman, he's coming up in less than 5 minutes. But first, it was a really cool moment on Sunday. Hunter Long, what is Hunter, 26, 27 years old, had spent the first portion of his career with the Los Angeles Rams, comes with James Gladstone from L.A. to Jacksonville. His first NFL touchdown catch on Sunday in the win over the Carolina Panthers. Hunter Long is a guy that, quite frankly, I didn't know a lot about before he got here. I am becoming a bigger Hunter Long fan every time I talk to the guy. And you're probably going to find out why. Here is my conversation earlier from the Jaguar locker room with Jaguar tight end Hunter Long.
In the Jaguar locker room, Jaguars getting ready for the Cincinnati Bengals. We got Jaguar tight end Hunter Long with us here on 1010XL. Hunter, how'd it go out there today?
Great. Just you have 24 hours to celebrate a win, and then it's time to move on in this league. We got another game this week, and build to be 2-0. That's all you can do.
I know it's been a little longer than 24 hours, but congrats on your first touchdown. What did that mean to you on Sunday?
It meant a lot. Been a roller coaster of a career, and just kind of mantra's always been keep chopping, and I was proud of the way I handled my journey, and everyone's journey is different, but it was a really special moment for me, and to have my parents and stuff there was really special.
200 yards rushing. Trevor Lawrence doesn't get sacked. I mean, you guys had to be pretty happy when you watched the film.
I mean, I said this before, but when you line up and punch somebody in the mouth, it's the X's and O's take care of themselves. We could have ran anything. We were the more physical team, and it showed in all aspects. Whether dominating pass pro, up front in the run game, and that opens up the pass game, and it all marries together. And I think it showed on the tape.
I asked you this during training camp, but what did it mean week one, all the new guys here, that it gelled that quickly? I mean, a lot of free agents, a lot of rookies, didn't seem to matter. You guys hit the ground running.
It was a good proof of concept for us, for guys to see. I mean, you preach all this stuff coming through camp and coming through OTAs, and you don't really know for sure if of where you're at, heading into week one. We thought we had an idea, and I think it was good to show, that the idea that we had of ourselves was actually, what we were able to do on Sunday. It's just a good building block for this team to launch off of and keep growing. But it was good, definitely good for the team to see.
On the road this week against Cincinnati, what are your early thoughts on the Bengals? What have you seen on film?
Yeah, I mean, our game plan isn't going to change. If we line up and keep punching people in the mouth, it'll shake out how it shakes out. I like our chances with the 11 we got on the field. The guys in this locker room, defense, if we keep playing our dominant brand of football, it doesn't matter who's on the other side of the ball.
As we begin to wrap up, Hunter, there's a lot of talk outside this locker room about a measuring stick game, kind of see where the Jaguars are against a team like Cincinnati. Do you buy into that at all?
No. We know who we are. We know what we're capable on Sunday. And like I said, it's names and faces. Line up and go hit somebody in the mouth and play our brand of football, execute the way we know how to execute, and it doesn't matter who's over there.
Hunter Long, best of luck on Sunday. We'll be watching.
Appreciate it.
There you go, Hunter Long. I really like the guy. I love the moxie that he shows. We're just going to line up and punch people in the mouth. I like the 11 guys we got. It doesn't matter who's on the other side of the ball. I love that mindset. Whether that's true or not, we'll find out soon enough, right? I mean, I do think there is obviously an uptick in competition between Carolina and Cincinnati. But if everybody in that locker room is talking that way and believes that way, and that's what Liam Cohen's preaching, I don't care who's on the other side of the ball. You line up, you bust them in the mouth. We're going to be the more physical team. We're going to hit you in the mouth. We're going to run you over, and we're going to win the game. That's a good mindset to have. And that's what they did against Carolina. They were clearly the more physical team, clearly the more prepared team, clearly the better team all the way around, and we'll see if that can travel. Now on the road, going up to Cincinnati to play Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. When you talk about physicality, you obviously talk about the big uglies on the offensive line. No sacks allowed against Trevor Lawrence. 200 yards rushing for the Jacksonville Jaguars as well. Those 5 starters got it done. One of those 5 starters, left guard Ezra Cleveland. I caught up with Ezra earlier on down at the Miller Electric Center.
Down here, Jaguar Miller Electric Center. The Jaguars getting ready for the Cincinnati Bengals. We got Jaguar offensive lineman Ezra Cleveland with us here on 1010XL. Ezra, how we doing?
Good. Just got done with practice. The weather's cooling down. Coming off the dub, it's going good.
Week one was outstanding for the offensive line, 200 yards rushing. Trevor Lawrence didn't get sacked. You guys got to be very excited with that performance.
I mean, yeah, it was good, but just like any other game, there's stuff to clean up. Some missed blocks in the run game, some pressure in the pass game. But all in all, it was a decent performance in week one, but we got stuff to clean up. So
Liam Cohen said he gave the entire offensive line a game ball for week one. What does that mean to that unit to get a game ball for that effort?
Yeah, I mean, I think as a unit, it's more important for the running back to get recognition. I think that comes with the position of offensive line. I don't really care about getting recognized, but when you do, it's nice. But having TJ get the game ball and all the recognition is nice as well.
With so many new guys in this locker room, rookies, added veterans in free agency, how important was it to go out there week one and do what you guys did? It was a dominating effort.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun, but we just got to go back to the drawing board and clean up the stuff that we didn't do very well and go out there against the Cincinnati Bengals and continue to get better and just take it week by week.
You mentioned Cincinnati. Of course, you'll hear that game right here on 1010XL. What have you seen from the Bengals early in the week on film?
Yeah, I mean, they've just played a hard-nosed game against the Browns. Trey Hendrickson is as good as ever, and the interior is strong. So we got a handful. In front of us, and just keep watching film and trying to get as much information as we can, and go out there and just play our game.
As we begin to wrap up, going on the road for the first time, how excited are you to go into that environment? It's their home opener. Should be quite the scene. You guys can make a big statement on Sunday.
Yeah, going into other stadiums and playing other teams with people booing you is always a good time. It's challenging, but I think everyone in the NFL likes a challenge, so it's exciting, and I'm looking forward to it.
Ezra, best of luck. We'll be watching.
Thank you.
There you go. Jaguar offensive lineman Ezra Cleveland kind of echoed what Hunter Long said, right? You know, we beat Carolina. The game's over. You move on to Cincinnati. 200 yards rushing. Doesn't allow, or the offensive line as a unit did not allow a quarterback sack, and yet he's talking about things they need to clean up. I love it. I love it. I mean, look, to my, watching it back a few times, I thought the offensive line was about as good as you could have asked for. I mean, maybe there were a couple of things here and there, but if you get offensive line play like that for the next 4 months, the Jaguars are going to win a lot of football games. I mean, what did we say the entire offseason, right? You can have the greatest wide receivers and running back and quarterback on planet Earth. If you don't have an offensive line, none of it matters. Well, when your offensive line does not allow your quarterback to be hit and your offensive line is opening holes for ETN to go for $143 on the ground, the Jaguars all of a sudden become a very, very dangerous football team. Now, the question is, now you start getting into the big boys. Trey Hendrickson is coming up, right? And then you go right from Trey Hendrickson to Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter. And then you go right from Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter to Bosa in San Francisco. I mean, you're going to see back-to-back-to-back all-pro caliber defensive ends, defensive linemen over the next 3 weeks. And, oh, by the way, Chris Smith from Kansas City, or Chris Jones, rather, from Kansas City, is on Monday Night Football in Week 5. So you kind of eased your way in a little bit with a Carolina defensive line that's not great. The level of competition gets magnified in a major way beginning this week with Trey Hendrickson and the Cincinnati Bengals. Denmark, your last opportunity, at least on Hacker After Dark, Cincy, Jacksonville, I gave you my reasoning as to why I like Cincy by a field goal. What do you ultimately think happens on Sunday at 1 o'clock?
Close game. I think Cincinnati's offense is going to be a little too much for the Jags defense. The field goal is a spread. The spread is a field goal, and I think that's what it's going to end up being. I expect a high-scoring game. Expect like 30-27, somewhere around that kind of ballpark.
Do you believe it would be a moral victory if Jacksonville were to keep it that close?
Nah. I mean, I feel,
because I can guarantee you the players don't think that.
No, yeah, I mean, this is an even game. So I mean, it's not one of those games where you are, playing an outmatched team. If you keep it close, you feel good.
But think about what you just said, and I don't disagree with you. But think about that: Jacksonville at Cincinnati. It's a 3.5-point line, right?
3. Yeah, it's been jumping between 3.
Well, traditionally, the home team in the NFL gets 3 points. Traditionally, so. With that logic, Vegas is looking at this as an even type game. Who on earth would have thought that a month ago? Who would have thought Jacksonville at Cincinnati would be looked at on the Vegas betting lines as an even matchup, Cincinnati just getting 3 points because they're at home? That's what that dominating win over Carolina. I'm telling you, the more people I talk to, like I talked to people in Cincinnati this week. I talked to some people that cover the AFC South in Nashville. I didn't have a lot of dialogue with a lot of national guys, but I talked to some. That got attention. I mean, people don't think Carolina's great, but again, people don't think New Orleans is great. New Orleans almost beat Arizona. People don't think the Jets are great, and the Jets almost beat Pittsburgh. People darn sure don't think the Titans are great, and the Titans almost beat Denver in Denver. Jacksonville destroyed that Carolina Panther team. 26-10 does not do it justice how lopsided that game was in the second half. And if Jacksonville goes to Cincy and wins, again, that will be a wow. That will be a ooh moment on all the national talk shows Sunday night into Monday. We'll see. You'll hear it right here on 1010XL. We've given you the Jaguar side of this game all week long. What about the Cincinnati side? My guy when it comes to the Bengals, has been so for a long time, is my buddy Jay Morrison. He's with BengalsTalk.com. That's part of the Sports Illustrated umbrella. Let's get the Cincinnati perspective. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, the home opener. How do they feel about the Jaguars rolling in? Jay Morrison up in Cincinnati joins us next right here on Hacker After Dark.
Jacksonville, it's football season, and Duck Duck Rooter is proud to be on your home team. As a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, we tackle plumbing, septic, and air conditioning problems with championship-level service. Keep an eye out for our custom Jaguar wrap plumbing vans rolling around town. They're hard to miss and always ready for the next play at your home or business. With thousands of 5-star Google reviews and the only master septic contractor in Northeast Florida, trust Duck Duck Rooter to keep you in the game. Call 904-862-6769 or visit duckduckrooter.com. Duck Duck Rooter, when you're stuck, call the Duck.
Jacksonville, get ready. Comedian Chris D'Elia is coming to Florida Theater November 30th with his brand new tour, Straight Out of the Multiverse.
Like, yo, you can't just make up a saying like you're Yoda and then the conversation's over. You gotta mean something when you talk. And don't tweet a picture of a salad.
It's bold, it's wild, and it's Chris D'Elia like you've never seen him before. Live on stage for one night only. Get tickets now at FloridaTheater.com. FloridaTheater.com.
Guess what? That would be random.
Chris D'Elia, November 30th at Florida Theater.
Mike Dempsey for Apex Roofing and Contracting of Jacksonville Beach. If your roof's got any damage, if it leaks, if it's just old and ugly, call my friends at Apex Roofing. But Mike, roofs are so expensive. It's true, quality roofing is not cheap, but Apex Roofing has up to 100% financing available, so you don't have to compromise quality for budget. Apex Roofing, no shortcuts, no stress, just quality work with financing available. Reach for the peak with Apex Roofing and Contracting in Jacksonville Beach. ApexRoofingFL.com.
Homeowners, storms don't wait, so why should you? Protect your home and your wallet with Universal Roof and Contracting. Save up to 20% on roof replacements and repairs now through September 30th. Financing is available with payments as low as $115. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roof and Contracting, protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com. Lucas Tree Service is a certified arborist and a local family-owned business with over 45 years of experience. They specialize in tree removal, trimming, and stump grinding for both residential and commercial properties. Get prepared for storm season and receive top-notch customer service from Lucas Tree Service, 904-241-3533. Online at lucastreeservice.com.
Frank Frangie here for Coyle & Sons Fencing. Jacksonville is full of memorable sports moments. Remember the 2017 AFC Championship game when Miles Jack wasn't down? Do you know what else isn't down? Fences installed by Coyle. Their fences have been standing tall here in Jacksonville for nearly a century. Since 1927, Coyle has been the fencing leader in Northeast Florida. If you're in the market for a new fence, I recommend calling Coyle & Sons today at 904-356-4821, CoyleJacks.com. That's C-O-Y-L-E Jacks.com. Coyle Fencing, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Here's a health and wellness tip from orthopedic specialists of Jacksonville.
Here's a simple tip for shoulder health to improve your posture. Slouching can put extra stress on your shoulders, leading to pain and injury. Make sure your head is over your shoulders are relaxed and pulled back, and your spine is properly aligned. Whether you're sitting or standing, if you sit for long periods of time, make sure to get up and take breaks and work on pulling your shoulders back. Get up and get moving, Jacks. And go Jags.
Stay healthy with orthopedic specialists of Jacksonville.
Playoff-bound Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp are in full swing at the newly renovated VyStar Ballpark. Your home for affordable family fun. Tickets start at just $5. Fireworks after every Friday home game and kids round the bases after Sunday games. Log on to jackshrimp.com for tickets and details. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, affordable family fun.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Time now for the big deal of the night. What's the big deal? Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Bengals, Sunday, 1 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL. 1-0 Cincinnati, 1-0 Jacksonville. And what will be a very interesting measuring stick game for the Jacksonville Jaguars, with the Bengals having their home opener on Sunday afternoon. Our guy up in Cincinnati for many years has been Jay Morrison. He's with BengalsTalk.com, and Jay's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Jay, how we doing?
Oh, doing great. Looking forward to finally getting a home game.
Yeah, Bengals were on the road last week. Not an impressive showing, but at the end of the day, it's a road victory in the National Football League. Jay, what were one of your takeaways, or some of your takeaways, from that 1-point victory over Cleveland last Sunday?
Yeah, a bit lucky to get out of there with a win, but the way that this team has struggled in openers and basically in weeks 1 and 2, they're 1-11 under Zach Taylor. I think they'll take it any way they can. I was encouraged by what we saw from the defense. I know the Browns don't have a great offense, but this defense has been maligned for years, and it was the reason they didn't make the playoffs last year. And they played pretty well in Al Golden's first game. The big surprise was how much the offense struggled. The Browns do kind of seem to have their numbers, but just really, really poor numbers from Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. And I think that is one of those instances where you chalk it up to the matchup. And the Cleveland is just so good at going against Jamar and T with single coverage that really limits what this defense can do. Myles Garrett's a wrecker. You just chalk it up to that and say that's not what this Cincinnati Bengals offense is going to look like the rest of the year.
Yeah, 17-16, Cincinnati got the victory. Cleveland missed a couple of kicks in that game. And you mentioned the slow starts under Zach Taylor up there in Cincy. I know that has been a big talking point. In fact, you and I talked about that during our division previews earlier this summer. It had to feel good, though, for the organization, despite how it looked, to get that win. So maybe some of that talk will slow down a little bit.
Yeah, that's what we heard from Zach immediately after the game. It's what we heard from him yesterday, that all that matters is 1-0. They got out of Cleveland. They got the win. They got that monkey kind of off of their back. And it never looks pretty when they play Cleveland. And none of that matters when they're sitting in December counting up the wins. It's not going to matter if it was 17-16 or 37-16. They got the win they needed. They've struggled against this. They've struggled against the Browns, period. They've struggled in Cleveland, and they've struggled against the division. So to go on the road, start 1-0, overall 1-0 in the division, they're more than happy with that.
Jay Morrison, BengalsTalk.com. He's our guy up in Cincinnati. Of course, the Jaguars and the Bengals this Sunday. You'll hear the game right here on 1010XL beginning at 1 o'clock Sunday afternoon. You talk about the struggles last week of the Bengal offense. How did Joe Burrow and that passing game look?
Yeah, it was just disjointed. You could tell they really wanted to go in there and establish the run. And the opening drive of the game, they go 12 plays, go down, score a touchdown. It's what it looked like in the preseason. They played 5 drives in the preseason and scored on 4 of them, 4 touchdowns on 4 of them. But after that, it just they couldn't get anything going. The Browns were able to slow down the Chase Brown in the running game. And like I said, they were able to play man coverage, single coverage against Chase and Higgins, and they just didn't have anybody else stepping up. People weren't getting open. Joe Burrow knows that clock is faster against the Browns than anybody else with how much Myles Garrett can wreck games. And they were 7 of 14 on third downs, but 4 of those conversions were on the opening drive. They really struggled to kind of keep drives going and build any kind of rhythm after that.
Jay, from an outside point of view, you look at that Bengal offense, at least we're looking at it down here, and you know how great Burrow is. You know Jamar Chase and T. Higgins might be the best wide receiver combo in the National Football League. I'm impressed with Chase Brown. But to me, it goes to the offensive line. Now, I know there's been issues with the Bengal offensive line in the past. They've tried to address some of those issues. I know Burrow got sacked a few times against Cleveland on Sunday. What are your thoughts about the offensive line heading into Sunday afternoon?
It kind of all over the place. I thought they did play pretty well in that game. And then you mentioned it, the Browns had 3 sacks. They were on 3 successive plays. It just totally wrecked the drive late in the game. That happens. Myles Garrett's going to get his, and he got 2 in that game. But I thought for the most part, the line held up pretty well. They've got a rookie 3rd-round pick at left guard in Dylan Fairchild. It didn't look good at times, but he, for a rookie in his first start in that environment, thought he played pretty well. The real concern there is at right guard. They went out and they signed veteran Lucas Patrick, but he's been dealing with injuries since OTA, and he goes down early in that game. I think it was 12 snaps into the game. He goes down with a calf injury. He's expected to miss a few weeks. They replaced him in that game with Dalton Reisner, who has been in this league for a while, but he had 2 padded practices with the Bengals, and he stepped in and played pretty well. And he's a guy that was on the street, and he hadn't played any kind of football since last year with Minnesota when their season ended. So that was a pretty remarkable performance for him to step in there. The guards have always been the question with this offensive line. They feel good about Amarius Mims, last year's first-round pick at right tackle. Orlando Brown is a multi-Pro Bowler at left tackle. And Ted Karras, they just keep giving him 1-year extensions. He's a great leader on this team, a really solid presence at center. So up the middle at the guard positions is where defenses can really kind of get after this offensive line.
Couple more for Jay Morrison, BengalsTalk.com. Jay, you alluded to it earlier, the defensive side of the ball. You said the name Al Golden, certainly a name familiar in these parts with Miami Hurricane fans. He's in his first year as the Cincinnati defensive coordinator. We know how maligned that Cincinnati defense was last year. But again, watching the Cleveland game from afar last week, it appears the Cincinnati defense played pretty well.
Yeah, it really did. They kept talking about, they did not look good in the preseason, and they kept talking about they were just going as vanilla as possible. They were not showing or tipping their hand at all. There's always, a big question mark going into week 1, and when you've got a new coordinator, everybody's kind of wondering what it's going to look like. So they did not want to tip that hand. What they did against Cleveland, I'm not sure that's what they'll do against every team, but they sold out to stop the run and then tried to get after Joe Flacco. And Flacco made a lot of throws, but they were short passes. Once they started getting some pressure on him, moving him off the spot, they were able to get a couple interceptions and off of tip passes. So I don't know that they're going to do that with Jacksonville and with a number 1 overall pick and Trevor Lawrence. It'll be interesting to see how this Al Golden defense kind of matures and evolves over the course of the season, but it was definitely an encouraging sign for them to come out and only give up 16 points and get a couple turnovers and do the things they needed to do to get a win.
Jay, I know it's relatively early in the week, but a pretty big game, at least that's how we're looking at it down here, kind of a measuring stick game for the Jaguars on Sunday, coming off that win last week over Carolina. What is the early thought up in Cincinnati about the Jaguars rolling in on Sunday?
Yeah, I think there's some excitement. I think there's that curiosity. They want to see Travis Hunter. The Bengals they've won 3 straight against Jacksonville. I know it's new head coach, a lot of new things with Jacksonville, but it feels like another kind of prove it game for the Bengals, because you mentioned it. All this focus on fixing the slow starts, and yeah, they won last week, but did they really fix the slow start? I mean, they're going to be favored in this game, and if they lose at home to the Jaguars, I think that just reopens all those questions. So a lot of excitement about the game. If the Bengals could go 2-0, it would be the first time in Zach Taylor's career. I think it's going to be another one like last week. I think it's going to be a close game. It's going to come down to the fourth quarter. They're going to need Burrow to come up with the drive. I don't know that they're going to be relying on the defense to come up with a stop.
Similar question, again, early in the week, and you mentioned Patrick, the offensive lineman's probably out. What other injuries did Cincinnati have to deal with heading into Sunday?
None, which is remarkable. They're the first injury report last week had nobody on it. I mean, even sometimes, guys they'll be full participants, but they'll still have an injury designation because they're getting treatment on it. It was a completely clean sheet on Wednesday. On Thursday, they listed B.J. Hill, their defensive tackle, as limited just because of rest. He missed a lot of time in the offseason, but they they came out of that game, other than Lucas Patrick, healthy. They had a couple guys get dinged up. Logan Wilson left, but he returned. He's their starting linebacker. Starting safety Geno Stone left with an eye issue, but he returned. It's pretty remarkable how they've gotten to the starting line here as healthy as they are.
Yeah, Jaguars are in a similar boat. Very, very minor issues injury-wise from that game against Carolina. Jay, final question. Look, the division, and we're only 1 week in. I'm sure Cincinnati was loving what they saw Buffalo do on Sunday night and putting Baltimore in the loss column. Cleveland looks like they're going to struggle, and then Pittsburgh, that might have been the game of the week against the Jets. They pulled out with a Boswell 60-yarder. How are we feeling about the AFC North 1 week into the year?
Yeah, I still think it's a two-team race. I don't know that Pittsburgh's going to stay there. I'm with you on Cleveland. I just think they're going to be a pain for people to deal with, but I don't think they're going to win a lot of games. This is going to come down to the Bengals and the Ravens, and the Bengals have struggled to beat the Ravens. They've struggled to beat Lamar, and until they can prove they can do that, I still think this is Baltimore's division to win. But though they haven't beat Baltimore, they have been right there. A 1-point loss in Baltimore last year, a game in Week 5 last year where the Bengals win that game if the holder doesn't drop the snap on a field goal in overtime. Just a lot of fluky things in close games. But until they can prove they can beat Baltimore, I have to pick the Ravens as the real, not just the class of the AFC North. I think they are the class of the AFC, and they're still my Super Bowl pick at this point.
Jaguar fans, if you want to stay up to date on the opponent this week, the Cincinnati Bengals, I cannot possibly recommend Jay Morrison, BengalsTalk.com enough. Jay, tell Jaguar fans here that want to learn more about Cincinnati, where they can find your work and what you'll have coming out this week.
Yeah, on the Sports Illustrated Network, BengalsTalk.com, all my stories are up there. I also do a podcast with Paul Dehner Jr. of The Athletic called The Growler. We just recorded that here about an hour ago. So those are all on YouTube, all the other platforms. And then you can follow me on Twitter, as you said, @ByJayMorris.
Jay Morrison, BengalsTalk.com. Jay, enjoy the ball game on Sunday. We'll talk again soon, pal.
Awesome. Thank you, Ryan.
Who rules the jungle? Find out Sunday at 1. Jaguars, Bengals on the home of the Jaguars, 1010XL.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Millard Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Millard Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Millard Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Millard Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Expert Automotive on St. John's Bluff Road has some of the highest Google reviews in Jax for a reason. Expert Auto never sells greed, only what you need. All makes and models are serviced at Expert Automotive. This month, get an alignment inspection for only $19.99. Expert Auto does major engine and transmission repair and simple maintenance. All services done at Expert Auto by our ASC certified training technicians. Call today, 374-3373, and ask about $50 off any service. Expert Automotive. We never sell greed, only what you need.
Enjoy the scenic views at Twin Peaks while you sip on half-price wine by the glass, select craft beers, and Jaeger Bomb specials. Into the Night with Rick Ballou is live 6 to 8 this Wednesday at none other than Twin Peaks, Atlantic, and Kernan.
Julington Creek Pest Control has been serving our community since 1984. Our turf management program is an all-out blitz, granular fertilization, weed and insect control, keeping your lawn championship green all year. Quarterly pest control stops bugs before they ever cross your goal line. Family-owned, locally operated, expert technicians, top-quality products, no gimmicks, just winning results. Julington Creek Pest Control, our family serving yours since 1984.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Want to grow your hair back?
IHRS, right here in Jacksonville, is the only hair transplant clinic in the Southeast to offer multi-unit hair grafting and the 45-minute PRP treatments. Grow your hair back. Call now for a free in-person evaluation. 904-777-IHRS, 904-777-4477, or visit hairforme.com.
Hey, Hey, Jacksonville, Rick Ballou here. Small business owners need trucks and vans to keep your business moving? Jacksonville Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram Westside has Ram 1500s to heavy-duty 2500s, ProMasters, and custom uplifts ready to work. Visit them on Commonwealth Avenue or go online to jaxwest.com. Jacksonville Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram Westside, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars and your local partner for work-ready vehicles.
Greenlaw Group is for the insured. If you think you have roof damage, call 904-302-7055 today, and they will schedule you a free roof inspection. Trust their law firm to help you fight your insurance when you need it. These storms can cause damage you may not even see yet. Call Greenlaw Group 302-7055. There's no cost to retain their law firm and no cost to have your roof inspected. They only get paid if you win. Greenlaw Group, for the insured.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Thank you to Jay Morrison, BengalsTalk.com, for joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark to give us the Cincinnati side of the Jaguar and the Bengal matchup on Sunday. Week 2 of the National Football League is underway. Green Bay on the board first, a 7-0 lead for the Packers. Jordan Love to Romeo Doubs for the touchdown. Love is very impressive early, 7 of 10, 118 yards and a score. Jaden Daniels, 3 of 3, but only 9 yards passing. In fact, Washington just had to punt it back to Green Bay. 7-0 Packers over the Commanders. 2 minutes to go in the first quarter as we kick off week 2 tonight of the National Football League. More on the Jaguars and Cincinnati coming up at the top of the 9 o'clock hour. My one-on-one conversations with both safety Andrew Wingard and Bayshell Tootin. You will hear those from the Jaguar locker room in less than 15 minutes. So you look at the college slate this upcoming weekend, and we've spent a ton of time on Florida, LSU. I said earlier that I like LSU to win the game, although I think it will be close. I don't think Florida's going to get boat raced or anything like that. I think it's very similar to Tennessee last year. Florida will be in it. They will do something boneheaded late in the game, and LSU will end up winning the ball game when all is said and done. I also like Georgia over Tennessee. Notre Dame, Texas A&M, that's an interesting one, right? I believe that's in South Bend. Boy, Notre Dame has not played since losing to Miami, so they've had, 13 days it will be to think about it. A&M has played a couple, Utah State last week. They haven't really been tested. You got to think Notre Dame will circle the wagons in South Bend. I would like to think the Irish will knock off Texas A&M. Wisconsin and Alabama. Denmark, does Wisconsin have anything for the Crimson Tide? It's a noon kick in Tuscaloosa on Saturday.
Wisconsin apparently doesn't have a quarterback, and if you don't have a good quarterback, I don't think you have a good chance to beat Alabama.
No, I wouldn't either. I think Alabama wins the game. They need to win the game for Kalen DeBoer's sake, and I think Alabama will. South Florida is not going to do it 3 weeks in a row, right? They knocked off Boise in week 1, obviously beat the Gators last week, and now they go to Miami on the CW, ladies and gentlemen, 4:30 Saturday afternoon. You think of great passion in the world of college football. You think of the pageantry, the history of the television partners of this great sport. The one to me that jumps right to mind is the CW. I kid because I care. I just can't believe that a battle of top 20 teams is on the CW. Good for them. That's going to get a lot of viewership with number 18 South Florida, number 5 Miami. But the point still remains, Denmark. USF can't do it 3 weeks in a row, right?
They can play well, but I think Miami is finally going to act like they are the better team than South Florida, and I think they'll take it to them. I think Miami's like a 17, 18-point spread. I think that Miami wins by 20.
Wow, you think Miami wins by 20?
I think that passing attack with Tony, that true freshman from American Heritage, and Carson Beck, I think they're going to – I think Miami will take care of business in the second half.
All right, interesting. I mean, I like Miami to win the game, but USF got my respect last week. You beat Boise in the fashion that you did. You go into the swamp and beat Florida. You're obviously a good football team at this point. I don't think they're going to win the game, but I think they will keep it pretty close with the Miami Hurricanes. Other games, look, Arkansas and Ole Miss. Give me Ole Miss. Vandy and South Carolina is interesting to me. Both teams at 2-0. Boy, if Vandy goes into Columbia and wins on a Saturday night, man, that'll be one of the greatest starts in Vanderbilt football history. They just knocked off Virginia Tech in Blacksburg by 24 last Saturday. They go to South Carolina this week. If Diego Pavia and Clark Lee and the fellas can pull that off, man alive, that would be something. But it's a good week of college football. And in the SEC, it's the best week we've had, as we have 4 conference games, all compelling in their own right. And again, you will hear Florida and LSU. You will get it right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM with kickoff 7:30 on Saturday evening. Halftime, Hacker After Dark, 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. We'll take you up till 10 o'clock. Coming up next, we'll go inside the Jaguar locker room, my one-on-one conversations with rookie tailback Bayshell Tootin and safety Andrew Dewey Wingard as we roll on a Thursday night here in Northeast Florida. It's Hacker After Dark.
Came out here, City Slickers. You're going to go home, Cowboy.
It's not a cattle drive. It's the Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville drive of the game.
You're done real good, Cowboys.
On 1010XL.
Does anybody know how to get where we're going? Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Hi, folks. Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Ever wonder what to do with leftover paint that you don't want? Here's a few options. Paint can be placed in the regular trash if it's dry. Simply stir in kitty litter to a thick consistency. Then wait a few days with the lid off till it dries. Also, if the paint is good, there's many charities or churches that would love to have it. If you'd like more tips or have a project, we'd love to help. Go to performance-painting.com. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting. If you miss an interview, it'll be waiting for you on demand.
Well, what are we waiting for?
Search where you find podcasts. And at 1010XL.com. Trained by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick. We're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by November 6th.
Guys, want a golf course fairway quality lawn? TopDressing.com just landed in Jacksonville with the golf course secret for St. Augustine grass homeowners. A patented process that aerates and turns your turf into a fairway stunner. Serious golf course technology, but in your yard. Less water, tighter cuts, total neighborhood domination. No one else scores a perfect 10 lawn. Hit TopDressing.com now. You will own the block. Top dress your yard like the pros with TopDressing.com.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hey, it's Rick Ballou. I just upgraded my home with fantastic floors, and the experience was incredible. Rusty and the team brought the showroom to me with their at-home consultation. The whole process was simple, the installation was top-notch, and the results, absolutely fantastic. Take it from me. Don't wait. Visit fanfloors.com and schedule your at-home consultation today. Fantastic Floors, where every step is fantastic.
For the first time ever, Beards Diamonds brings you names like Rolex, Cartier, Van Cleef, and Tiffany. Mark your calendars, September 18th through the 21st, a 4-day premium estate jewelry event. Spectacular buying opportunity, your chance to own the world's premium brands. You know when Beards has a sale, it's the real deal. And this one's extraordinary because of these amazing brands like Rolex. Are you ready to own the Rolex of your dreams? Beards buyers have scoured the country handpicking high-quality pre-owned Rolex watches. All the hard-to-find models, Submariners, Datejusts, Sky Dwellers, Yacht Masters, over 100 pristine Rolex timepieces to choose from. Plus, Beard showcases are packed with Tiffany rings, Cartier necklaces, Van Cleef pendants. And for this special event, Beards is selling loose diamonds at unheard of prices from 1 carat to 10. Don't miss this unprecedented event. The finest names. It's Thursday through Sunday, September 18th through the 21st. Plan to come early. Beards Diamonds, not another corporate chain store. Your locally owned jeweler, Beards at the St. John's Town Center.
Nothing like a hot shower. Wait, why is the water up to my ankles?
It's the dreaded clogged shower drain. Hair, soap scum, and last week's mystery goo.
It's touching my toes!
Don't panic. Call the pros at Duck Duck Rooter. We'll tackle plumbing, septic, and even the nastiest shower clogs. Call 904-862-6769 or visit duckduckrooter.com. Duck Duck Rooter. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Into the 9 o'clock hour we go. Hacker After Dark, 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Again, week 2 of the National Football League underway. They have entered the second quarter at Lambeau Field. 13:38 before halftime. Green Bay still up 7-0. A Jordan Love to Romeo Doubs touchdown is the difference. Packers 7, Commanders nothing early on in the second quarter. Week 2 for the Jacksonville Jaguars will get underway Sunday, 1 o'clock up in Cincinnati. It will be the Bengals home opener as they welcome in the Jacksonville Jaguars. Earlier on, down at the Miller Electric Center, I had the opportunity to go one-on-one with Jaguar safety Andrew Dewey Wingard, reviewing Carolina, previewing Cincinnati. Here is that conversation on Hacker After Dark. In the Jaguar locker room, we got Andrew Wingard with us here on 1010XL as the Jaguars getting ready for the Cincinnati Bengals. Dewey, how'd it go other day of practice?
It was good. You know, it was a good energy out there. Good start, going 1-0, and got to dial in. It doesn't mean anything, and we're on to Cincinnati, in the words of Bill Belichick.
You've been through a lot of opening days here in Jacksonville. That was a good one on Sunday. Yeah. I mean, what was your thought, a couple of days after the game?
You know, like I said, we won the game, but we're on to the next. And I don't need to say anything about the team we played, but we play the Cincinnati Bengals this week. So this is going to be a great game, and you can't think you've earned anything because you won one game. So we got to get back to our fundamentals and stay dialed and keep that edge to us. So I think that's going to be the biggest thing this week.
They always say turnovers come in bunches, from 9 in 2024 to 3 on opening day 2025. And should have been 4, by the way. Yeah. What was working so well for you guys, and how can you carry that on to Cincinnati?
Yeah, we just executed. I mean, that first play with Eric, we repped that in practice many times, and then boom, it just happens like that. Perfect, work of art. So that was great. And then the beautiful, complimentary football. The offense scores twice off of Eric's or Foyer's pick and Foyer's, punch out there at the end of the half. So that was fantastic. And then I think that was it. And then just playing staunch against the run. I know they had a couple. They got over 100, but one of them was on a quarterback 30-yard scramble. So I think we did that really well, and that was one of our keys to the game. So it was a good start.
One of the big talking points on my show this week, everybody's looking for the 24 or 25-year-olds. You look here in Jacksonville, Foyer, Armstead. You look at what Jordan Lewis did, Eric Murray, the veterans on this team on the defense, all made huge plays. How important was that to get off to that sort of start with all the newness in this locker room?
Yeah, it was big. And again, you make your first shot, it's good to see one go in the hole, and that just builds momentum. Momentum's powerful. So that was huge. And a lot of the things we preached, the intangible things, the tackling, the toughness, the physicality, running to the football, that all showed up. And when things show up that coaches preach and guys see it, it's they're right. So that was huge. And we did all those things, and I think it'll build and carry forward, just not even X's and O's, just culture. And so that was one of the big things. And, you know, we got vets, but we got guys who are like I even have said in past interviews this year, like, I feel like a rookie. Like, and it just feels like that. Like, guys still, it's not like, I'm getting to the end of my days. No, it's like all these vets are like, screw that. Like, I'm still here. So that's kind of the energy.
Final moments with Dewey Wingard, Cincinnati on Sunday. Obviously, that means Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. Talk about the challenge that represents.
Yeah, great challenge, great team, great pedigree. You know, they almost won a Super Bowl. They've played with each other for like 5-6 years now. It's a great team, but we got really good players too. So that's going to be the fun part. And, you know, it could be I don't know the word. It could be a visual down the road into maybe an AFC playoff picture. So it's going to be a great game. We're super excited, especially going on the road, and a great challenge.
Finally, a lot of fans are calling this a measuring stick game, kind of see where the Jaguars are against one of the better teams in the AFC. Would you agree with that?
I mean, I don't like to look at it that way, because whether you win or you lose, you're still going to advance, and it doesn't mean, you lose and you're not there. So I don't really buy that, but again, it's always good to play great teams, and it's going to be a fun one. And again, you play a Joe Burrow, who's going to be a 20-year, 15-year guy, great quarterback. It's like, that's how you measure it up. So I like to think of it in, you know, that sense. And then a great challenge for the back end against, you know, T. Higgins and Jamar. So it's going to be super fun.
Of course, you'll hear it right here on 1010XL, Jacksonville and Cincinnati. Dewey, appreciate it, man.
Thank you, sir.
There you go, Andrew Wingard. Always one of my favorites, man. There is never a dull conversation with Dewey. That is a good dude, and I always am very appreciative that he is so good to me and taking time out to speak with us here on Hacker After Dark. Obviously, one of the big stories this week happened on Monday after the win against Carolina. The Jaguars make that trade. It was only 72 hours and change ago that Tank Bigsby was sent to Philadelphia. Boy, that seems a lot longer than 72 hours ago, but that's all it was when Tank Bigsby got traded to Philadelphia. Well, we know that means ETN's the guy now in the backfield. We also know the two rookies, LaQuint Allen Jr. and Bashal Tutin, their roles will be massively expanded now that Bigsby is in the city of brotherly love. I had the opportunity down in the Jaguar locker room to talk about that with Bashal Tutin, and here is that conversation on Hacker After Dark. In the Jaguar locker room, Jaguars getting ready for Cincinnati. We got Jaguar running back Bashal Tutin with us here on 1010XL. Bashal, how'd it go out there today?
Went pretty well. I think practice went pretty good overall. So I was really pleased with how practice went today, so we just got to build on from it.
You and I spoke last week. You now have one game under your belt. How do you think your NFL debut went on Sunday?
I think it went pretty good. I got a couple reps, got in, did what I had to do. Just showed a little glimpse of, who I am and how I can play. So just building blocks from there, just continue to work.
Obviously, Tank Bigsby gets traded on Monday. That is a sign, I would imagine, to you and both LaQuint Allen Jr. that your roles will expand. What did that mean to you when the organization traded Tank and you guys are the next man up?
It just goes to show me how, how the NFL is, next man up mentality is real here. So, one day I go in, game one, I'm RB3, I got, a couple reps, but, this game I'm coming in and, getting more reps. So, just got to, stay prepared and get myself ready to, go out there and ball out.
What was that experience like to see Travis Etienne go for a $143 in the opener?
It was great. The guy works hard, every day at practice. We all do. But to go out there and see, see him ball like that and, get back to who he is was definitely pleasing because I know how hard he works.
You got a home game under your belt. Now you hit the road. Cincinnati's home opener on Sunday. How excited are you to go up there and play the Bengals?
I'm very excited. I'm new to this NFL thing, so every game right now is, I'm just very pleased with, looking forward to. So just another game, go out there and, and show who we are, and I'm excited for that.
Still a little early in the week, but what have you seen from Cincinnati on film?
We saw a couple of things that we, got cooking up for the game plan, so we just got to come out, practice. Coaches are doing their thing, with the game plan and things like that. We just got to go out there and execute.
Bashal, best of luck on Sunday. We'll be watching.
Thank you.
There you go. The thoughts of Jaguar rookie tailback Bashal Tutin down in the Jaguar locker room as the Jaguars are now getting into final preparations, right? They'll have kind of a walkthrough practice tomorrow, meetings, and then they get on a plane on Saturday, and they will head up to Cincinnati, 1 o'clock kick. Of course, we will have the fifth quarter for you on 1010XL and 92.5, 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Bengals go final. Myself, the Pro Bowler Leon Searcy and the coach Gerald Ingram. And I truly hope we are talking about a big victory and a 2-0 Jaguar team on Sunday evening for the 5th quarter. Before we get to the NFL, or at least the Jaguar portion of the NFL schedule on Sunday, it's a big week in college football. Of course, Florida, LSU, Georgia, Tennessee, Wisconsin, Alabama, Notre Dame, Texas A&M, South Florida, and Miami. It's a good week. A lot of compelling storylines. And again, like I've told you, I love the Vandy, South Carolina matchup. I like the Ole Miss, Arkansas matchup. A lot of good games, but certainly around these parts, it's all about Georgia, Tennessee. It's all about Miami, South Florida, and it's all about Florida and LSU. Let's talk about all of it with my buddy Brent Beard. You see him locally on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark on a Thursday evening here in the city of Jacksonville with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Jacksonville, we're glad you're with us. Brent Beard joins me next right here on Hacker After Dark.
Every Sunday drive deserves a Monday morning quarterback.
Did anyone look at the scoreboard?
We'll take apart the top games, key plays, and controversial calls from the weekend.
Post-Game Monday.
Delivered by Dandy Foods on 1010XL.
Baloo here for Spunez Vision. Why Spunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Spunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Spunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Spunez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SpunezVision.com today. Here you can see.
The doctors at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists have resolved my hip and foot issues, and I'm back to training for the 2028 Olympics in LA. This is Garrett Scantling, and I highly recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
This is David Garrard. Following my knee surgeries and recovery, I'm continuing to feel great and would recommend Southeast Orthopedic to anyone who's experiencing orthopedic pain.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Baloo here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Joe Coward, Matt Hayes, and Leon Searcy are serving up your daily dose of sports talk specials from scratch.
I didn't know you could.
XL Primetime is driven by Duval Ford.
These are delicious.
Noon to 2 weekdays on 1010XL.
Denny Thompson here. Look, don't get left in the dark. We're all trying to reason with hurricane season, so at least be prepared. For top-of-the-line generators in Jacksonville, I turn to Tyson. Licensed pros at Tyson deliver reliable, whole-home standby generators and provide fast repair service. They even do custom installations for local businesses, so don't wait. Ensure seamless installation and peace of mind. Call Tyson now, 904-762-1000 for a free estimate on generator services. TysonInc.com.
September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Here's a reminder to get screened. Ackerman Cancer Center offers on-site imaging and other diagnostic services. Early detection saves lives. Visit AckermanCancerCenter.com.
For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Join Jim Furyk and other legends of the PGA Tour for the Constellation Furyk and Friends, presented by Circle K, October 3rd through 5th at Timuquana Country Club. Catch the new community concert series on the 17th hole after play, featuring country artists Low Cash and Love and Theft. Public parking is free with complimentary tournament access for military, courtesy of ViStar Credit Union. Get tickets now for the Constellation Furyk and Friends, presented by Circle K, starting at just $25 at Ticketmaster.
Are you ready ready to reclaim your backyard? Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, Surfside Pools is the trusted name for expert pool design. Family owned and operated, they offer pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools transform your backyard into the oasis that you crave. Are you ready to float happy? Visit surfsidepools.net or call 246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, where luxury meets leisure.
License number CPC 044080.
I know you love sports, so why not take that passion and make a difference in your community as a volunteer coach with the YMCA? Whether it's soccer, basketball, volleyball, or flag football, the Y is always looking for positive role models to help kids grow in both skills and character. Even if you've got no coaching experience, that's fine. We'll provide the training. Step up, give back, and be the coach that makes a difference. To volunteer, visit your local Y or fcymca.org.
David here with Royal Pest Services. It's back. Our summer Centricon Termite Special. New installs begin as low as $249. And if you have existing Centricon, but your renewal is through the roof, we can transfer you to Royal at no cost. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule a free estimate.
Homeowners, storms don't wait, so why should you? Protect your home and your wallet with Universal Roof and Contracting. Save up to 20% on roof replacements and repairs now through September 30th. Financing is available with payments as low as $115. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roof and Contracting, protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com.
Maxed out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Prosser here. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan Program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. That's Loan Pronto. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is an A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and have nearly 2,500 five-star Google reviews. Call now and start the conversation. Go to loanpronto.com or call 999-1508. That's loanpronto.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line.
Hello.
Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Upcoming on Saturday is the biggest SEC weekend of the year. We got a couple of gigantic football games. Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, and LSU. Speaking of Florida, goodness gracious, they're trying to pick up the pieces from what was a disastrous Saturday night in Gainesville with that loss to USF. Let's talk about all of it with my buddy Brenton Beard. You see him locally on First Coast News, and you also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Mr. Beard, how are you, my friend?
Well, good to be with you as always, Hack. I tell you what is exciting is not only what you get this week and the next few weeks, but particularly next year when they go to 9 conference games and they eliminate one of the Clash for Clunker games that they won't be playing. So the SEC schedule is tough now. It will be even tougher next year.
Yeah, it'll expand when they go to those 9 conference games beginning in 2026. Brent, you and I have talked about Billy Napier, obviously, for a long time. I have defended Billy Napier a majority of times when a lot of people have not. But I watched that game on Saturday night. I watched his clock management. I watched just the inexcusable play calling down the stretch. And then I watched one of his guys spit in the face of an opponent. I mean, we hear about discipline. You know, Billy may not be winning games, but he's producing, you know, good kids to come out of that program. And I still believe that. But when I saw a kid spit in the face of his opponent, that was preposterous. I would have kicked Bet off the team. He would never play for me again if I was in charge at Florida. I mean, what a disastrous Saturday night that game was against USF.
I don't know how it could have gone any worse, frankly. But yet, even in the midst of that, it's still a game the Gators should have won because USF can only do, frankly, so much. So it was. There's no doubt. It was deeply disappointing. And this is something we'll get into as the season goes along. If Napier had really given the play calling over to somebody and allowed them to do it and taken his hands off of it, I think that would have given him a little bit more grace. But, heck, the problem is you lose to South Florida. You've got LSU this weekend on the road. Then you've got Miami on the road. You've got a week off. You play Texas at home, and then you go back on the road to A&M. I mean, look, even the best teams in the league, you would hope for what, a 2-2 out of that 4. So it's not going to be any easier. And you've got what's going on now. Florida has allowed 18 tackles for loss in 2 games. They're 129th nationally in tackles for loss allowed. And now my Stars, one of their edge players, L.J. McCray, undergoing foot surgery. So it's a tough week, and they go to a place that is not going to be very friendly to them at all on Saturday.
No, when they go to Baton Rouge. You know what I relate it to, Brent, when it comes to Billy Napier? It's almost like Doug Peterson. It's arrogance / ignorance. Doug Peterson would not get rid of Press Taylor. All right. He fell and he died on the Press Taylor sword because I guess he wanted to be loyal. Whatever. He knew he needed to do something, or I guess he didn't. Everybody else knew he needed to do something, and he did, and he got fired as a result. Napier just will not hire an OC. He just won't do it. Mike Norvell did it in Florida State. Seems to be working pretty well for him. Other guys have known they needed to change, and they did it. Billy just quite frankly refuses to. His play calling is terrible at times, and that's a sword that it appears he's going to fall on in Gainesville. Yeah, and that's really disappointing. Now, we get kind of mixed signals about this. What we heard last week was from the AD's office is that we're going to spend time and money on bringing in players instead of putting money together to bring in another coach. So that obviously is going to bring some hoorahs and a lot of probably disappointing with that too. But see, the other problem now is you've got a situation where you're going to LSU, you're actually going to play one of the more improved teams in the league, and particularly defensively, where they have been a disaster. LSU has defensively. Now that's some different, and then you get a Miami team. Now Miami's got a tough game this week. We'll talk about it in a minute, but you get a Miami team. So it's frankly in heck just an unbelievable gauntlet that Florida is having to deal with. And again, as we said, now with Blake Baker come over from Missouri, if they've got a defense, that makes them even tougher. You see Brent Beard on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Brent, quickly to Florida, LSU. You know what's going to happen Saturday? I almost guarantee this. Everybody's picking LSU to destroy Florida. This is the game that Florida's going to circle the wagons. They're going to be in it in the fourth quarter, just like Tennessee last year. They're going to be battling. You're going to think, holy moly, can they actually do this? And then Billy or the coaching staff are going to do something dumb in the fourth quarter, and LSU's going to win the game, by a field goal. But then after the game, Billy can get in front of the podium and say, hey, we battled. Nobody gave us a chance. We were there in it. That's the Gator standard and all this stuff. And, I almost guarantee you the game is going to go like that. Well, and to back up what you're saying, 4 of the last 5 games that LSU and Florida have played have been decided by 10 points or less. So it
it would fit the pass, would it not?
It would. Florida and LSU, of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL Saturday night out in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The game of the weekend in the Southeastern Conference is Georgia and Tennessee. And I'll give Tennessee credit. Not that they've had the toughest start to the year, but we had some real doubts about Tennessee and their quarterback situation. Goodness gracious, Brent, 2 games in, Josh Heupel has that team rolling as the Dogs head into Knoxville.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, they've got a lot of guys who are, frankly, stepping up and been impressive. I mean, Boo Carter, for instance, and particularly in returning punts. You've got some other guys, Braylon Staley at wide receiver, Dwayne Morris at running back. They've got people who've stepped up and helped. Aguilar, and their quarterback at Tennessee, really has made a big difference. But see, what they've got this year is they can run the ball like they did last year. Their defense is similar, but they've got a better quarterback play in Aguilar. Now, what you don't know here is what Georgia are we going to see. Now, the reality is Gunnar Stockton has done okay, but they really struggle. Heck, right before halftime, and the weather was getting bad in Athens last week, in their game, they had tremendous amount of problems scoring basically from the goal line of all places. So they've still got a lot to figure out here, but I will say I would still pick Georgia in this game because they're used to playing games like this. And this is one of those games where their line of scrimmage, and particularly their defense, steps up and they start to play better. But that there is a reason why this is a game of the week in the SEC.
Brent, I cannot believe we are at this point of the year already that we're going to start talking about if Billy loses his job, who's going to be high on that list for Florida. Let me give you a name that won't have the greatest appeal to it, but he's a guy that I like a lot, and he's got another big game on Saturday night. How about Clark Lee at Vanderbilt? Here's a guy that has come in. They just absolutely went to Blacksburg and wiped the floor with Virginia Tech last week. Now they go to South Carolina this week. If he pulls that off, I know he's a Vandy guy. I think Florida, if Florida were to come calling, I don't think any loyalty to Vandy would stand there. But Clark Lee's a name that I think Gator fans should at least consider if Billy Napier were to lose his job sooner rather than later.
Look, I don't think there's any question about that. And Clark Lee, if he does what we think he could this year, it could be very popular. I mean, Vandy is averaging, and again, I understand who they played, but Vandy is averaging nearly 500 yards on offense, 254 passing, 231 rushing. They're playing defense real well. Diego Pavia has been, frankly, very good, and that continues. Look, to your point, that was a big win in Blacksburg that they got over Virginia Tech, trailed 20-10 at halftime, and heck, scored 34 unanswered points in the second half. Vanderbilt did. Listen, heck, do they score 35 unanswered points in their spring game? No. So it was quite impressive for what Clark Lee has done so far.
Final moments with Brent Beard. That's called making halftime adjustments. Something that Florida doesn't normally do under Billy Napier and the current coaching staff. You mentioned Miami and South Florida. Boy, that's the best game ever on the CW network. I saw that. Really? It said 4:30 on the CW. I'm like, wow. All right, in the top battle of two top 20 teams. South Florida can't do it 3 weeks in a row, right? They've already knocked off Boise State and Florida. They now go play the Hurricanes. I mean, what an opportunity again for USF.
Well, it really is. And look, there are people already thinking that USF may be the best of the group of 6 teams that they've got. Alex Golesh, their head coach. I mean, if they continue this, I mean, how popular is he going to be at the end of the year looking for jobs? So, yeah, there's no question. Now, Miami's playing well. Obviously, a huge win over Notre Dame, who's got A&M this weekend. Notre Dame does another big game. Carson Beck, again, playing well. And look, Miami's got the better team, and you would think at this point USF would run out of steam, and they would not be able to get back up for a game like this. But look, this is a tremendous opportunity for USF, and for them to be talking as we're talking about them, that tells you something about where that program's come from, doesn't it?
It does. There's no doubt. You know, you mentioned as well Texas A&M, Notre Dame. That's a big national game. And then finally, Brent, we got 60 seconds. Give us a quick thought on Arkansas and Ole Miss, the other SEC game this weekend.
Well, listen, Arkansas is playing well. I don't know how long that's going to continue. It would certainly help their coaching staff for that to go on the way that it has. But look, Ole Miss, the thing that is different about Ole Miss is they have got the defense to be able to win a game like this. This is going to be another fun game, though. Probably a lot of people may not even be able to watch because they're involved with other wins, too. Ole Miss had a real struggle against Kentucky, and Kentucky at times really looked like they were going to win that game, but Austin Simmons did have a bit of an ankle injury. They've got to watch him and see where that's going, but you're right. See, games like this, to me, are what makes the SEC who they are. You know, we know about Georgia and Tennessee, but it's games like this, Vandy and South Carolina, Ole Miss and Arkansas, that's given this league, that's why this league's so good.
No, absolutely agree. And again, you also got Oklahoma Temple this weekend, and of course Wisconsin traveling to Alabama. You see Brent Beard on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Brent, on paper, it's the best weekend of college football, certainly in the Southeastern Conference. Enjoy all of it, and we'll be back to recap it next week.
Good. We'll look forward to it, bud. Take care.
Tired of wrestling with your shower curtain like it's a slip and slide gone wrong? Ditch the drama and say hello to a smooth, stylish glass shower enclosure from Baker Glass. Why go glass? It's clean, elegant, and makes your bathroom look huge and brighter. Give your shower a makeover and feel like you're in a spa without the price tag. I'm Mac at Baker Glass. Call me and get ready to love your new shower. Let's make your shower great again. Remember, Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Your home is your sanctuary where memories are made. Jack's homeowners trust Superior Fence and Rail to make their home feel safe, secure, and complete. Imagine a classic wood fence for privacy, sturdy aluminum to protect your pets, or a modern vinyl design that boosts curb appeal. Every fence is built with precision and pride, standing strong in every season.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Hey, bro, weirdest thing is happening at the game. This guy sitting next to me says, "You're our good luck charm." Every time I crack a Bud Light, we score a touchdown. Now his entire family wants to buy me Bud Lights. I think I'm some kind of a football prophet. Talk soon. The team needs me.
Anything for Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Stock up today. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
On game day, you trust your team. On storm day, trust the people's roofer, Morgan Conley Roofing. Born here, built here, staying here. MorganConleyRoofing.org. License number CCC 1333544.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, Director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick. We're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by November 6th.
Learn the secrets to bring your A game on the Edwin Watts Golf Hour.
Yeah, well, you really crushed that ball off the tee, I'll tell you what.
Learn the latest on new equipment from all the major manufacturers on the Edwin Watts Golf Hour. Saturday morning at 10 on 1010XL. 1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. This time tomorrow night, we will be under the Friday Night Lights. Week 4 already. Boy, that's hard to believe. Week 4 of the Friday Night Lights, and there are some big games all over Northeast Florida. Let's kind of look back on the first 3 weeks, some surprises, and look ahead to what should be a terrific night tomorrow with Marty Lee, longtime head coach at First Coast High School. He is still the athletic director out there with the Buccaneers, and Coach Lee is always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark. Coach, how we doing, man?
Hacker, doing good, man. Like you said, boy, it's hard to believe that almost 1/3 of the season is gone. And, boy, we got some good games coming up, and we got some teams that, but if they don't get on it, they'll be looking at trying to just play for some pride. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's going quick, no question. And I want to talk about tomorrow night's action in a moment, but to rewind the clock back last week, boy, those were two heavyweights on San Jose Boulevard. That St. Augustine, that St. Augustine Bulls game was crazy, and St. Augustine comes out with the win. Two really good football teams, Coach.
I mean, just great football game. I watched a little bit of that game, and just to see all the athletes that were on that field, and and just to see the coaching that was going on, they were very prepared for that game. Bowes had a shot at the end of the ball game, had a penalty, had a touchdown call back. And it goes down to the wire, and that's what you expect when you have two good football teams like that. Especially those two teams are gearing up. I know it was only week 3, but they're getting ready for the playoffs, and both of those guys will make deep runs in their classifications.
Last Friday night was a statement night. I thought Nice made a huge statement. They destroyed Tallahassee Lincoln. I thought Oakleaf made a statement with what they did to Fleming Island. What were your thoughts on both Nice and Oakleaf?
Oh, no doubt about that. I did not see. I felt that Nice could go up to Tallahassee and play well with Lincoln. That's a traditional powerhouse in the Panhandle up there. But for them to do what they did there says a lot about that program, and that they're a team to reckon with in 6A. And then again, there's Oakleaf. And a lot of people don't realize, Hacker, that last year Oakleaf knocked Nice out of the playoffs. Nice was undefeated and Oakleaf had to go to Nice and beat them, and they may be on a collision course again. And again, man, Foy's done a really good job. I thought Fleming Island, they're still a strong program, but for them to dominate those two programs like that says a lot about where they're going.
The coach, Marty Lee, with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville as we get you ready for the Friday Night Lights tomorrow night. And the game you will hear right here on both 1010 AM and 92.5 FM is Bolles and Bishop Kenny. Of course, Bolles coming off that St. Augustine game. Bishop Kenny had a relatively easy time with Toccoa Creek. I was kind of surprised about that. Bishop Kenny's already beat University Christian this year. What is your thought on Bolles and BK?
Well, that's a rival that's gone back a long time. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Hacker, is that Bishop Kenny's only beaten them once in about the last 20 years. And I think that was in 23 that they beat them. And then Bolles came back and revenged that loss last year. And so that's a big game. Boy, it's tough to get Bolles after they lost that tough ball game to St. Augustine. Tim's got those Crusaders playing well. It's going to be a great ball game to listen to or to go watch and see. And again, the great thing about both of those teams are they're in different classifications. BK's a 3A program and Bolles is a 2A program, and this is only going to get them ready for the playoffs. I know I say that a lot, but that's what you're trying to do at this juncture of the season. You're trying to get ready because, believe it or not, in about 6 weeks, you'll be in the playoffs.
Coach, when the schedule came out, you start circling games, and normally Bartram Trail Creekside is a heck of a contest. Yet clearly it appears to be a down year, or at least a somewhat down year for both programs. Both desperately need a win tomorrow night in that game.
Oh, yes, there's no doubt about that. Going 0-4 is a tough thing to bounce back from. The great thing about Creekside, and a lot of people don't know this, Hacker, they're in 7A. There's only one win in that entire district. AC's 1-2. They're 0-3. Sandalwood's 0-3. And so even if Creekside loses that ball game, they still got a great shot at winning the 7A district. On the other hand, Bartram Trail is in a district with Nice, Buchholz, and Sequoia. If they lose that and go 0-4, it's going to be hard to come back in that district. I know it's not a district game, but boy, that district they're in is a little bit more loaded than the district that Creekside's in.
You know, we talked about Nice, and they go to Fletcher tomorrow night. Fletcher's kind of an under-the-radar team, Coach. I know you're obviously very familiar with Seatric. You got a friendship there. He was on your staff at a certain point as well. Again, very quiet, Fletcher, but they're doing pretty well. Do they have something for Nice tomorrow night?
It's hard to tell, Hacker, to be honest. I mean, Fletcher is flying under the radar, but they have beaten 3 teams that has a combined win total of 1. And so they haven't played the competition that Nice has. You look at who Nice has beaten, and then you look at the travel that Nice has. You know, Seatric and them's got to get off quick. And in the second half of the seasons and the games that they've been playing, they've not been finishing people off. You know, after that Nice, you know, with Ponte Vedra, they let them get back in the second half. But the last 2 weeks, they have closed the deal. I think it's going to be a tough game for Fletcher, you know, at the beach. It's going to be an exciting environment up there. You know, again, these are, 6A programs that could easily face each other in the first or second rounds of the playoff.
A couple more for Marty Lee, former head coach of First Coast High School. He's the AD at First Coast, and he's with us here on Hacker After Dark. I'll tell you another team that's gone under the radar a little bit at 3-0. That's Baldwin. Clearly their toughest test of the season as they take on Union County.
Yes, I mean, you know, that guy does a really good job up there. You know, and a lot of times you like to fly under the radar, you know, but when you're 3-0, you're going to catch people's attentions. And it doesn't matter who you beat. You know, my old good friend Joe Reynolds used to say, at the end of the season, nobody asks who you played. They ask what your record is. And so right now, if you're prepared for that environment, if you're prepared to take on that task, they should be a good ball game. You know, I see them doing some good things up there at Baldwin High School. There's no doubt about it.
Coach Raines is going to play way above competition. They're playing Lake Mary tomorrow night. I'll give Raines credit. Donovan Maslin over there, they'll play anybody, and they're traveling, I believe. They're going to Orlando.
They are.
Yeah.
They are.
I mean, so you talk about what is Raines? 4A, Lake Mary's, 7A? I mean, just talk about that a little bit, Coach. Just the student populations of those schools, it's certainly an uptick in competition, but yet a game Raines probably believes they should win.
Well, and you got to look at it. Both of these teams were lost in the state championship last year. Lake Mary loses the 7A in the 7A. Raines loses in the 4A, and they both got beat bad. And so when they were able to schedule this game during the summertime, they both felt this would be a great measuring stick up here in North Florida to see where you are. Raines is a very talented football team. And even though their numbers are different than Lake Mary, a lot of people don't realize, you know, they're 100 strong. They're about 130 kids in their football program. So they match Lake Mary. Scott is an unbelievable football coach, a great offensive mind. When I was coaching, we had great battles with Lake Mary. There's a lot of tradition there. But again, you give Donovan credit. He's going over there. He knows he has to play these types of team, Hacker, because if he doesn't, he's not going to prepare himself for Miami. You know, Raines doesn't leave the North Florida area. If they can beat Bishop Kenny, they don't leave this area until the state semifinals. So he's trying to prepare his guys, you know, get ready for the playoffs. That's true. It's going to be a great football game. There's no doubt about it.
Final moments with Marty Lee. Coach, as we begin to wrap up, the Brain Bowl tomorrow night, Paxton and Stanton. I know that's a game you normally love to go watch.
I love that. Hey, I'm so glad you mentioned that because I was going to mention that. That is a great ball game. It doesn't care what your records are. These two schools, they live for this game. I've told Steve and Dennis, I think you guys ought to play twice a year, especially since you're both in that independent league, because those kids, the money they're going to make at that ball game is going to be at, you know, Stanton. You know, you're talking about two teams that are 2-2. They're probably going to face each other possibly in their little state playoff bracket. in their division they're in. This is going to be a great ball game, and the winner's got bragging rights for another year. That's for sure.
Coach, I saved the best for last. Mandarin and Bradford County tomorrow night on Greenland Road. Jamie Rogers and Bradford County are undefeated. Toby Bullock and Mandarin are undefeated. This was the game that Jamie French got injured in last year. Bradford County went on to win the game. Mandarin looking for a little bit of revenge a year later. I told both Jamie and Toby this last week. This is a game that Bradford County does not need to play. They don't need to play Mandarin. And likewise, Mandarin does not need to play Bradford County. But the fact that they are playing this game makes everybody that loves high school football in our area the better for it.
Well, and that's why you got to love both of those coaches. You said it best, Hacker. They don't have to play, but they are going to play. And these are games that people want to go see. There are going to be a lot of people show up to that game to watch the athletes on that field, because those, they might be a big FSU or Florida guy, and they know those guys are going to those games, and to see those guys play each other before the season ever gets started, the playoffs ever get started, is huge. And very well coached teams. Jamie was on my All-Star staff when I was doing the state All-Star, and Toby was one of my assistant coaches, during our heyday when we were doing it. They're both good coaches. They're going to be prepared. They know how to deal with adversity. They know how to deal with the environment. They know how to deal with these Division I schools. It's going to be a good ball game. It's going to be a really, really good ball game. And another game, really, Hacker, that people don't understand, they don't have to play each other either. It's Oakleaf and Hawthorne. Mm-hmm. They don't have to play each other. Hawthorne is, I think, 1A or 2A, and Oakleaf is 7A. But again, these are state caliber teams. And so when you get to play those types of teams, it only makes you a better football team. There's some good football games going on Friday night.
Coach, 60 seconds, final question for people listening tonight that are thinking about going to a ball game. Where would you send them? What's the best game or two in the area, in your opinion?
Well, definitely the Nice Fletcher game is going to be a great ball game if you're out there toward the beach. If you want to get a little sunshine, put your toes in the water, go to the beach. The Bowes Bishop Kenny, that's bragging rights on the private schools over there in San Jose. Hey, you can't go wrong with Paxton and Stanton. I love the brain ball. There's no doubt about that. I would say those three games would be games that I would look at if I just wanted to go see a great high school environment, great high school, football, bands, cheerleaders. It's going to be a good night to go see some good football.
Marty Lee is a fixture under the Friday Night Lights in Northeast Florida, the longtime head coach at First Coast High School. He still serves as the AD over there at First Coast. Coach, enjoy all the ball games. We'll talk again next week.
I appreciate you, young man. Hey, look here, your boy did a really good job with a shout out for the Jags. I like it a lot.
He loves doing it, Coach. Thanks, buddy.
All right, I appreciate you.
Marty Lee, the head coach of First Coast, joining us tonight here on 1010XL. And again, 24 hours from right now, as a matter of fact, we will be under those Friday Night Lights following the conclusion of Bowles and Bishop Kenny, week number 4 of the high school football scene here in Northeast Florida. We certainly spent some time on that. We spent some time on the college ranks as well. Again, big weekend, Florida, LSU, Georgia, Tennessee. You got other SEC games like Arkansas, Ole Miss, Vandy, and South Carolina, Texas A&M, Notre Dame, Wisconsin, Alabama. And, of course, the biggest one in the state of Florida is South Florida, coming off that win against the Gators as they travel to Miami. It should be a fun Saturday. We spent some time on that. But as you can imagine, a majority of our time was spent on the Jacksonville Jaguars as they are getting ready for the Cincinnati Bengals Sunday at 1 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL, a battle of 1-0 teams. And we will have the fifth quarter for you. Myself, Leon Searcy, and the coach, Gerald Ingram, 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Bengals go final. Well, that will just about do it, man. Very busy Thursday night edition on Hacker After Dark. We certainly appreciate you guys hanging out with us, and we have a ton of people to thank. Again, Marty Lee, athletic director at First Coast High School. Always appreciate Marty. My buddy Brent Beard stopped by to preview the college football weekend. You see Brent on First Coast News, and you also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. We learned a ton out of the Jaguar locker room this week. I had one-on-one conversations with tight end Hunter Long, who caught his first touchdown in the NFL last week in that win over Carolina. I also talked to offensive lineman Ezra Cleveland, running back Bashel Tootin, and safety Andrew Wingard. And we certainly appreciate all those guys taking time out for us here on Hacker After Dark. And we also got the Cincinnati perspective of this game on Sunday. My guy up in Cincinnati for years is Jay Morrison, BengalsTalk.com. And we appreciate Jay joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark. Now, some housekeeping. Tomorrow morning, Dylan Denmark and myself will have the Gator Bites podcast on the 1010XL social media channels, as well as the Florida Gator 1010XL Facebook page. That will start around 8:15, maybe a tad before tomorrow morning. So we invite you to join us for Gator Bites and what should be a pretty spirited show after USF and heading in to LSU. As I mentioned, I'll be with you on the fifth quarter Sunday with Gerald Ingram and Leon Searcy 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Bengals go final. And tomorrow night, Hacker After Dark will turn in to the Friday Night Lights postgame. I'll be here with Dylan Denmark starting at about 9:30 tomorrow night, following Bowles and Bishop Kenny, Victoria's head coaches all over Northeast Florida. And prior to that, check me out on both the 1010XL social media platform and the Channel 4 social media platform. Friday Night Lights on 4+, as I'll be with Justin Barney over at the Channel 4 studios from 7 o'clock until 9 o'clock, reacting to high school games in real time. And we do hope you join us for all that high school football coverage. I like LSU to beat Florida. I think it's going to be close. I think it'll be a game in the fourth quarter, but give me LSU. And I've tried to get there all week, and I hope I'm wrong. And quite frankly, I wouldn't be all that surprised if I was wrong, to be honest. But I am going to take Cincinnati at home. Give me the Bengals by a touchdown on Sunday. I think the Jaguars will make a good showing for themselves. I just don't think Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are going to be as bad as they were last week against Cleveland. And because the Bengals are at home, it's hard to win on the road. We know that. Give me Cincinnati over Jacksonville. Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight. Dylan, great job as always. I'm the hacker, Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending not only your Thursday night with us, but your entire week with us here on Hacker After Dark. As we always tell you, and we cannot possibly tell you enough how much